So setup wise in both these cases, very, very good. Obviously we talked about that kind of like lowercase y, which you did from setup, very, very well. Gripping the club, posture was good. Initially you're not going to see it from sort of face on here, but there's a little bit of leg sort of locking back. You can almost see a bit more shadow on your legs. That means the fact your knees are flexed a bit more. So a little bit of knee flex there will help the body move. This was your backswing before on the left hand side. So just moving the arms, not a lot there. Then try to hit it hard with the hands and arms sort of pushing forward and ball going on the ground. It's 15, 20 yards at most. So that was your backswing length there. This now is your backswing length. Ooh, there. This is now your backswing length here as you go back.
Okay.
So you've got a little bit of a hinge in the elbow there now, which we'll talk about in a bit more detail, okay? But you're definitely hinging the wrist. At least at this point there, we've got that L shape. Okay.
Sure.
Now, the two things that we're talking about now in terms of why sometimes you do struggle to hit the ground. Number one, obviously that arm is slightly collapsing there, which we'll talk about how we would change that. And look at this left foot now lifting off the ground. So it's almost like you're moving up off the golf ball slightly, okay?
Got you,
But in general, when you come back to the golf ball, that left foot's back on the ground. Your arms can return back to impact. Really, really good strike of that golf ball there now. And then allowing everything to sort of swing through to a full finish. So you're getting a lot of good movements in there. It's just fine-tuning some of those movements as we go back. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, if we can just think, okay, hinge, that's the movement you've got to try and get better there, okay? Now, the way we're going to keep that foot a little bit flatter is get your hips rotating a bit more and hinging, which hopefully in turn will sort of restrict that foot movement and this elbow bending, because you can just slide the hips a bit this way. As you can see, as that right hip goes out sideways, it kind of takes the golf club back a little bit this way. And we sort of have to get a little bit collapsed as a result. If we can get it a little bit more this way, should, in theory, make it a little bit less requirements for the arm to bend, and that foot won't really be doing that movement there, okay? So that's going to be the extra add-on we're going to look at. In terms of any practice that you would do, you're just going to focus on that kind of hinge of that wrist as you go back. We're going to look now at sort of how the hips move, and what we'll do is actually do some things literally at home where you basically put a table or a chair up against your right hip there and just rotate without going into it, now on some of these chairs here now. So you can do that without thinking about it, or your brain's thinking, okay, I've got to miss this chair, but I'm focusing on the hinge of the wrist. So you can kind of almost get two things going at the same time. But that's going to take a bit of practice. I wouldn't even be in the house anyway, but I wouldn't be in golf balls doing that, okay? Just get that feeling of that movement. It's just repetition of moving the body in such a way that we can get the wrist to hinge and the hips to rotate. Okay, does that make sense? So in terms of the movement, so you can see in terms of what we've changed there, okay? Set wise, just as a reminder, as I said, that lowercase y from face on, what we're looking for. I don't think we actually got the setup from the start with your feet together, did we? I don't know, we might have done. No, if you made some swing, then you sort of shuffled in. That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, you can see they're in a good start position. Generally, would always say start with the feet together. Club pointing towards that sort of left hip area, which puts the hands in front, which you are doing there, fine, okay. And then from there now, you see the hands go forward nicely. The swing thought now, as I say, is that hinging of the wrist. If you can get that hinge of the wrist, great. We'll look at how those hips are going to move as a result, which in theory, like I say, will help keep that left foot flat and the left arm a little more extended.
Okay, sure.
Good stuff. Very good, friend. Right.